Hello, everyone. Welcome back to No Fear 2A News. I'm your host, John Berger. Kind of bad news today. We have taken a loss in the bump stock case. The Supreme Court was looking at taking this case this session, and it appears they're not doing it. They're punting it and saying, hey, whatever the circuit courts have said, that's good enough for us. We're not taking the case. So the problem here is what the circuit courts have said is that there was nothing unconstitutional. The ATF reclassifying bump stocks as machine guns is fine. They didn't overstep their grounds. They didn't overstep Chevron deference, things like that. And that's what is really the issue here. It's not that the bump stocks are gone. It's that the ATF is now empowered to continue just redefining things as they please. We're seeing this with FRTs. We're seeing this with pistol braces. That's coming very soon in December. We've already seen it with the redefinition of firearms and receivers, where they're just like, hey, we're just going to redefine these things. And now, granted, even if the bump stock case would have gone through and the Supreme Court would have taken it up and whatnot, and let's say we got a favorable decision where they're like, yeah, no, you can't do that. Chevron deference, and you guys are overstepping your bounds. Let's say that did happen. All those other things that I just mentioned would still have to play their way through the courts and get decided on. Now, hopefully, they wouldn't have to go all the way to the Supreme Court, because the lower courts would be like, yeah, no, you guys already had this decision, over bump stocks. What are you thinking? And eventually they probably would have tried to appeal it the whole way and, just prolong what their, prolong their tyranny as long as they could. But now with this bump stock decision, I think it's going to embrazen them. And that really sucks. Again, we're not here for the fear, but this is one of those times where, this is a all hands on deck thing. So what can we do? That's the big thing. One, you need to start holding your representatives accountable. Contact them, say, hey, this isn't right. And if you and your colleagues don't take back your power and legislate the way you're supposed to, then I am voting you out, period. I will get somebody in there that wants to do their job. And that is a big thing, because the ATF is saying that they have leeway to do all this because in 1968, the Congress delegated their powers to the Department of Justice, which I don't get how that is possible, because the Department of Justice is part of the law enforcement area. ATF, all that, it's a law enforcement branch, but it's part of the Department of Justice. How a law enforcement branch gets to make law is beyond me, because at any time, if law enforcement wanted to go rogue and just say, you know what, we need more people locked up this week, we're going to make this illegal. It's, I don't care if people have to breathe to live. We're making, breathing oxygen illegal. Now they get to, just throw people in jail. And I realize how ridiculous that sounds, but follow me here. So law enforcement being able to just arbitrarily make laws like that is a huge problem. You don't have your police chief just sitting there going, you know what, we're going to change the speed limit from 45 to 15 just because we need to write more tickets this week. No, that's something that's got to be voted on by your city council, your town hall, whatever the heck it is, and go through measures that way. It's, the police chief and the police union and all that, they don't just get to change it as they please. And that's something that we're seeing happen with the ATF, and that's a big deal. Because again, they changed the definition of firearms and receivers. Now, a chunk of metal can be an unfinished receiver and needs serialization if that's what it's intended for. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? It could be just a piece of billet aluminum, or worse, piece of plastic. Apparently, I mean, heck, I just thought of this one. If I intend on 3D printing handgun frames, do I need to take that spool of media and have it serialized because its intent is to become a 3D printed handgun frame? technically, it should, but again, that's how ridiculous and also how vague some of these new changes are. And they're making them vague on purpose. That way they can catch people. And that is a whole other issue in itself. So, again, not here to fearmonger. I hope that it's not being taken this way. But we did suffer a loss here, and it's I think a pretty big deal. Now, does that mean that these other cases, as they come forward, will have the same outcome? Maybe. I don't know. It's hard telling. But this was what I was really worried about, was this bump stock case not even being taken by the Supreme Court. I was really hoping that they were just going to GVR this case, which is grant, vacate, and remand this case to the circuit court again and say, under the West Virginia v. EPA case, you need to relook at this. And with that, they didn't, which is another weird thing here, because now they're telling the EPA, yeah, you can't use Chevron deference in that manner, but they're telling the ATF, yep, no problem, go ahead and do it, which is contradictory. And it's really weird. And now, everybody's like, oh, the New York State Pistol Rifle Association case, v. Bruin, that's going to change everything. All gun control laws are just, see ya. Here's the problem. Bruin didn't stop this, for one. And two, they just ruled on the West Virginia v. EPA case last session, and they're already contradicting some of the things in there. What are the odds that they don't contradict themselves with the Bruin decision? Not real. I'm not having a lot of faith with the system right now. It sucks. Like I said, contact your representatives. Tell them, take your power back. You're my representation. And right now, I'm living under tyranny because the people making the laws and changing the laws and just taking and redefining things so it fits how they want it to be do not represent me. I don't get to vote for them. I don't have representation by them. And that, in definition, is tyranny. So, again, hope this wasn't fear-mongering. It was not my point here, but just laying it out there. This is what happened, and this is what's going to be going on. Let's hope, when pistol brace cases come up, when the polymer handgun frames, because the framers and receivers definition changes, when those come up, hopefully we get some favorable decisions in those, and those slap down the ATF with the things they're doing. But the bump stock case did not do it. So we'd like to thank you for watching. If you haven't done it already, please hit those like, comment, share, and subscribe buttons, and I will catch you folks on the next one. RGB it. So, or excuse me, yeah, RGB. I was really hoping that they were just going to I was really hoping that they were just going to excuse me. I was really just hoping they were going to GRV this case, which is grant, remand, and vacate the decision. Or GBR, god damn it.